Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. If you get anything out of it, please share it, like it, comment, whatever. And check me out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Let's get into it. Alright, first up we're doing some pizzas with some non-traditional doughs. And the first thing we're going to do is a potato flatbread. I've just got some self-rising flour with a little Italian seasoning and some garlic powder, and then some mashed potatoes. If you don't have mashed potatoes, you could probably just use like the inside of a baked potato. It's just going to be a little drier, so I'm having to put a little more flour in it than I would if it was just a regular potato. But we're just going to combine these until it gets into a dough. I'm going to roll these out and then fry them in the pan. Alright, so that's about equal parts mashed potatoes and flour, and then it comes into a pretty nice, easy to work with roll. And I've just got flour down here. I'm going to break it in half and make two of these. But it's going to be really similar to tortillas, just like I made them. I'll post a link to that video down below so you kind of sort of know what I'm talking about. We're just going to roll this out just as thin as we can. It's going to rise a little bit since this is self-rising flour, but we're just going to try and get it as thin as we can, then we'll fry it in the skillet. Alright, so I just got these fried up and they look a lot like tortillas, and that was what we was going for. So I'm just going to top these real quick. I'm going to put kind of traditionally marinara-y stuff on this one. Just mozzarella and some pepperoni, you know, pizza stuff.
Can we put on this one?
You sure can. Can you put that one on this right here? And this other one's going to be a like a bacon ranch. Oh, that's plenty. Whoa, that's way plenty. Thank you.
Can I rub it out?
Sure. You want to use this? Okay, you just set that down. Perfect. And I've got the oven preheated to 450. Gonna pop these in. Since everything's basically cooked, all I'm doing is melting the cheese, probably about 6 or 7 minutes, and then we'll come back and look at them. That's good.
You like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So this next pizza dough we're gonna do is gonna be just self-rising flour, same thing, garlic powder and Italian seasoning. And there's no yeast in this like there would be in traditional pizza dough. That's all that's in that, and then there's about a third of a cup. It's a cup of flour and about a third of a cup of milk, and maybe a good tablespoon or so of mayonnaise. And it's going to be just like the last dough. We're just going to roll it up until it forms a dough that's easy to work with, and roll it out, and we'll make another pizza dough with that. Alright, these just came out of the oven. Pepperoni got nice and crispy. And that cheese right there is nice and melty. Kind of like a flatbread pizza, tortilla pizza. Speaking of, first video I ever did tortilla pizza. I'll throw a link to that too. And then this ranch one got a little bit soggy, I feel like. Well, excessive with the sauce. But I think it's still going to turn out pretty good. A lot of cheese and bacon in there. And moving right along. Alright, so I got this all kneaded out and stuff, just the flour and milk and mayonnaise. And what I like to do is go ahead and put it in the pan and kind of form it in there, and that way you don't have like two messes, even though I obviously am going to have two messes because, you know, science and stuff. But this stuff will about double in thickness, so depending on how thick you want your crust, you're going to need to roll it roughly half that thick. But I like to get it just as thin as possible, and then because I can only get it about a 1/4 inch thick, so I wind up with a 1/2 inch of crust. But same deal, 450. This is going to need to cook for a little bit longer because it's raw dough, probably about 12 minutes or so, and I'm going to top it just with pepperoni and stuff on this one. But we'll come back and look at that when it finishes. Alright, so this last thing we're going to do is super unconventional, I guess, but kind of low carb if you leave the breadcrumbs out. But I've got a pound or so, hey baby, I got a pound or so of hamburger meat, and then I just put my garlic and Italian seasoning in the bread. I'm going to mix that up. And we're going to make a giant hamburger patty, and I'm just going to press it down into the skillet, thank you, and just however thick it winds up being is how big it's gonna be. A good thing to remember, if you're using lean meat, it won't shrink up hardly as much as you will if you've got like 20% fat or more. And other stuff I'll think about later and I'll tell you about it. Alright, so this just came out of the oven. Like I said, it looks mostly like a regular pizza. And just gonna cut that into some edible squares there maybe. Pick this up. Oh, stuck just a little bit right there. But even, I don't know if you can see the bottom of that, how good it crisped up. Oh, and there's some slime too. Don't put that on your pizza though. And if you walk right over here, we're fixing to make a huge mess. Luckily I have 2 skillets that are about the same size. And that patty's just way too big to flip. So I'm gonna burn myself and set my house on fire, probably. We're gonna go something like real fast. Yeah, and yeah, it's not terrible. Anyway, we'll come back to that when that side gets done cooking. Alright, well I'm still alive. Pants probably need to be washed tonight, but other than that, both for grease and other reasons, because I had like molten grease slung at me. So don't recommend doing that now looking back. But anyway, I got this cooked. It may be a little bit underdone in the middle, but I'm fixing to bake it, so I think it'll be okay. It shrunk up maybe an inch or so around the edge. I'm just gonna put some sauce on it first, just like I do my the bready pizzas. And just pepperonis, cheese, and I'm gonna throw some jalapenos on this one too. And just bake it just like I did the potato pizza, probably 6 or 7 minutes, cheese will be done. This cooked probably 7 or 8 minutes per side. It's gonna depend on how thick you get it. It's a little more than a pound of meat, so. Alright, just pulled this thing out of the oven. It smells really good. Jalapenos just, when they cook, smell good to me. Anyway, but we'll cut right into this and see how it looks. I'm gonna cut really small slices because that's some thick meat right there. Oh yeah. I realize that's small, but I've eaten like 6 pizzas already, so. But anyway, like I said, you know, I can whip all those up pretty quick. This isn't exactly real time, but it's not far off of it. Ow, that's still hot though. But anyway, you know, all the pizzas tasted great. They smell great. And if you can remember, or you know what I was gonna tell you earlier that I forgot, just go ahead and leave that in the comments too. But I'm gonna go ahead and eat the rest of this too. We'll see y'all next time.